Hello, and welcome to The Forgotten Feminine, where we discuss female figures in art and mythology. If you'd like to follow along, we have a new character each week. Be sure to subscribe to learn along with us. Today we are talking about Pandora. So in case you are unfamiliar with the story, Pandora is a character from Greek mythology. She is the first mortal woman and is best known for opening a jar that would release all the evil into the world. Now, one thing to note quickly, we are going to see a lot of imagery of Pandora with a box or a chest. You probably have heard the phrasing of Pandora's box even being used in conversation. Truly, though, she had a jar and not a box. Pandora's jar became a box in the 16th century when the Renaissance humanist Erasmus most likely mistranslated the Greek pithos, jar, for pyxis, box. Pandora's name means all gifted. She was created by Hephaestus and Zeus and then endowed with gifts from all the Olympians. After Prometheus had stolen the divine fire for man, there were no women yet. Zeus needed a cunning way to punish men for their newfound power. What could be more enticing than a gracious woman blessed with beauty, cunning, sensuality, and helpful skills to help them in creating life? Pandora's name also means all giving. She was given to Prometheus's brother, the Titan Epimetheus, whose name means afterthought, as a wife, and presented a jar, not a box, from Zeus as her wedding gift. Inside the jar, Zeus had placed the mutant children of Nyx and Erebus, essentially all that was evil and destructive. She was instructed not to ever open the jar, and with that, Zeus planned to shift the tide on humanity's newfound strength. After the creation of man, Zeus withheld the gift of fire and the means of life. Why? What was he afraid of? Did he see the potential for his creation to rise to be as great as himself and as powerful, too? Prometheus loved mankind and spent his days living among them. He stole the divine fire of Olympus and thus gives man almost unlimited potential and creative force. They could now exert their will on the world. Prometheus means forethought, and he surely would have considered the terrible punishment that would await him for sharing fire with man. But he did it anyway, and with that spark he forged the path for the creation of woman and all the gifts that would come with her. As the first women of creation, there are obvious parallels we can draw between the stories of Pandora and Eve. Eve is known as the mother of all living, while Pandora can be considered by the Greeks as a grandmother. It is her daughter who will help repopulate the earth after a great flood sent by Zeus almost destroys them all. Both women had instructions not to, and we see them both vilified for their disobedience and for the hardships they would usher into the world. I see these women's careful and deliberate curiosity as something to celebrate. If it were not for their wonder of what could be, humanity would cease to be. It is easy to become afraid of change, and it can keep us from moving forward with our dreams. But in order for creation to happen, we must be willing to accept the consequences of change and bravely take action. Pandora resists the temptation of the jar for some time, but eventually her curiosity consumes her. She opens the lid, and all the evils inside rush out to settle wherever mankind existed. In her hurry to stopper the jar, she traps one last remaining child of Nyx inside: hope. If you are enjoying the story of Pandora, be sure to check out my other videos. Subscribe and never miss another great female story. Many interpretations on what this means for us are available, one of the most popular being that hope is in fact the greatest evil of all. Hope prolongs the suffering of man. If hope exists, then we will continue to endure whatever punishments we are subject to. But the interpretation that resonates most with me is this: hope is not a small, insignificant thing. It survived inside that jar with all that evil swirling on around it. Hope is a powerful thing. Hope remains with each of us, and we can have access to it. Hope is the last thing to die in men. Perhaps meant as a punishment, it becomes the final gift from Pandora. She preserves hope so that we might all face this trying world with bravery and faith. We can endure, create, and rise above our trials. If we have hope, we are not weak. Here is my personal artistic rendering of Pandora. This story left me feeling a little sorry for her. She has all these gifts to share with man, and we really only remember her for the jar. I chose dark colors with a very sinister feeling surrounding the vase. Even so, Pandora attempts to shine brightly through, her arms outstretched to give us all hope when things seem darkest. Studying Pandora was very interesting and a lot of fun as well. We also found a really fun game to play. Pandora's Box card game is a fun twist on the game Golf. Family members and friends can join in the chaos of Pandora's Box. Thanks for watching, and join in the conversation in the comments below, or follow me on Instagram at forgotten_feminine. Thanks again, and we hope to see you next time on The Forgotten Feminine.